Welcome back to the Last Row Podcast. It's been a while since you heard that one, Badway, right?
Yeah, we gotta get the Piod going, yeah.
Welcome back to the Piod, everybody. This is episode 114. If you're looking for us on the web, our website is thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, social media, Facebook, at The Last Row Pod, pretty much anywhere you're looking. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and please consider leaving us a 5-star review if you're enjoying the show. Welcome every new listener to the show, and welcome back all longtime listeners. We just got finished wrapping up Predator Month, and we got some good feedback on that. And one thing that we have to do, and we've got to do this here, is talk about longtime listeners. We got to give a shout out to one of the original Last Row listeners, UK Lee.
Lee. We're talking UK Lee.
and Lee, way back in 2016, and I don't know how we forgot to mention this, but Lee sent us a picture of this incredible Predator costume that he made. And I think he said it took him about 3 months to make this thing. And he sent us this picture, and it is awesome. And I don't know how...
movie quality, it was.
It was. And I don't know how we forgot to mention this. So, Lee, if you're out there and you're okay with us posting this picture, we'd love to share it with the other listeners so they can see what a cool costume it was. And it was perfect for Predator Month, and we'll kind of close it out with that. But thanks for sharing that with us.
If you want to share with the people your shredded abs, please give us permission. And we'll post your picture.
Jacked muscles, pythons. Yeah. But no, thanks for sending that. And it is movie style quality there. And, we've been busy lately, so we've been tied up in some of our other jobs that we've been doing. And
projects, if you will.
Projects. And, as a lot of you know, and maybe some of you have found our show through some of the Terry Silver and Cobra Kai stuff that we've been doing. Cobra Kai Season 5 just dropped, and we've been doing a lot of partnerships with some of our awesome friends out there. So just want to give a shout out to Ken Cole, who we've been partnering a lot on some of the Kencasts. We'll put some links to the Kencast in the show description. We just got done doing a 7-hour marathon live stream prior to the release of Cobra Kai Season 5. It was an epic marathon, but we had some awesome guests there. We got a chance to talk to Sean Kanan, Mike Barnes, Karate's Bad Boy himself, Sensei William Christopher Ford. It was a lot of fun. There was so many other guests too. And I also did a show with Peter from Cobra Kai Companion for Cobra Kai Season 5 prop bet. So I'll put a link to that in the notes too. But been a little busy, and also wanted to watch that season before the show got spoiled for us. So hopefully you guys avoided the leaks and the spoilers. But man, it's been fun, but a little unprepared this week.
Yeah, and when you say we, it's really Drew has been spearheading this Cobra Kai campaign, and he's done a great job. And I'm very proud of him. And Drew was on for 7 hours. I was on for 1 hour, maybe max. But it was an honor to do with all those guys.
And, awesome.
And I'm proud of Drew for stepping out and giving Last Row a shout out in the Cobra Kai scene. And I think it's getting us some extra views and extra listeners, which is always appreciated. Hopefully they can take their love of Cobra Kai, and they found us, and will follow us on to ridiculous action movies and family movies from the 90s and 80s and 2000s.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that definitely jumps to our show and is also a listener of all of those other shows. We've gotten some great interaction in the chat, and, I got the live stream bug, Badway. It's a lot of fun. And I know we've talked about incorporating it for our show. We have some YouTube subscribers now. I know this show's out also on YouTube, but want to get into some of the video stuff, and we'll probably do some more live streams coming up. It's been a lot of fun, and we've met so many great people through this process, and just thanks to everybody that's included us. We've had a blast, and looking forward to doing it more.
Yeah. So having said all that, long story short, because Drew tends to make short story long, I'll say that we have no movie for you this week, but we still wanted to give you the good content, you people. You people need the good content. So we wanted to put something out. So we decided to what would you say? Just to reinvestigate our old episodes and villain scale the villains that did not get a proper villain scale before it was even invented by us. So we'll get into that a little bit later, as we always do. Hashtag we'll get to that later. But yeah, first and foremost, Drew, how are you? It's been a while. We haven't really communicated that much, hence the lack of the podcast this week with a movie. But we did do something together this very morning, Saturday the 10th, as of recording time. We went to a toy convention, Drew.
Thank you for the invitation, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm down to go toy hunting, just like,
Yeah.
what is it, Jordan Belfort? What was that show on the Travel Channel?
Yeah. We went to a toy convention. I thought that it would be cool to just like really describe that for the people and just as a way for me and you to chat about it because we didn't really get a chance to talk about it. And I thought that this platform would be cool to like briefly to go through that. So what did you think of the con? What were you looking for? And what did you have growing up to kind of like, lead you on your hunt today?
So I have found my way into collecting and you, whoever's out there, you can say these are crappy or not crappy. I don't know, but I've collected my way into collecting the McFarlane DC Multiverse toy line. I don't know how I got started. I think it was like there was a Batman figure that I saw, and I think I go to one of the local comic shops here and they had them there. So I started collecting those, and I've been on the hunt for this Killing Joke Joker where he has the camera, and you can't find it anywhere. So I was hoping that when you invited me to it, that I would be able to find that there. And unfortunately,
I was hoping to.
I did not, but that's okay.
People out there, if you have the Killing Joke Joker that Drew was talking about, please hit us up and he'll pay you buco bucks to take that off your hands.
But that's the other thing. I don't want to pay like $800 on eBay for it, or even $80. Like I'm stingy about it. I don't want to pay that much.
Well, as Triple H says, Drew, you got to play the game.
Yeah, I know. You got to play the game
you play.
Everybody has a price.
And everybody has a price.
As a wise man once said.
Yeah.
What about you?
So yeah, I went there. I'm Mr. Cheapskate. I go in there not expecting to spend money. I go for the fun of it, thrill the hunt, as they say. Had they had a technodrome from the old school Turtles days, I might have been. But where am I going to put that? Am I going to put that on my mantle? What am I going to do with the
How much are you willing to pay for the technodrome, and what is it worth?
I feel like it's worth like $1,000, and I would pay like maybe 40.
Like in box or loose?
Loose. Give me loose, but I need to have the parts. I got to have the eyeball, Drew.
Yeah.
If you don't have an eyeball, then it's not worth it.
That's the kind of thing that'll have like gunk on it. The stickers will be all like
it'll be
peeling off.
You got to fig bath it. You have to fig bath it.
And especially with like the plastic, it'll be all like melting. But I didn't see that there today. Did you?
No, I didn't. No, I saw some major play sets, but not the Technodrome, not the sewer from the Turtles. I didn't see the Ghostbusters house. I didn't see that. Although there was an early bird entry, and it's possible that some of the good stuff was bought.
I'm
before
sure
we
that's
even
what
got in the
happened.
door.
Yeah. I saw some cool stuff though, and it's funny. I didn't buy anything for myself. I bought 3 or 4 of My Little Ponies for my daughter.
Yeah,
that's what I rolled
daughter.
out with.
Yeah, it may or may not exist. Sure.
Exactly.
Yep.
It was a couple of those, but no, I mean there was some cool stuff. Like I went in there thinking that. Like, I don't know, if I think about some of my favorite toy lines growing up, like, and what I was hoping to see there, like I always grew up and I think about, like, I'll tell you in chronological order as I grew up. Like, I was thinking, like, okay, I like Ghostbusters. Like, that was, everyone that listens to this knows that. I also liked a lot of the Ninja Turtles toys. And then I got into Power Rangers, and they had a ton of Power Rangers toys there, which was cool to see because I haven't seen them in a while. And for some reason, I can't find them in my parents' house. So I don't know if I still have them.
Yeah, I felt like the con was pretty much dominated by DC stuff and Power Ranger stuff.
And the Marvel Legends, too, and Star Wars, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. And then, I don't know, like, I really like the Ghostbusters, but the only things that they had there that I noticed was there was a couple figures of the Hasbro re-release, but they were, like, insanely overpriced. And I don't know, I can't do it. I don't know.
You're not you don't want to pay vintage prices, and I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see more Thundercats, honestly. I found a few loose ones, but I didn't see the lair. I didn't see the truck. No, I had the truck, and I would play with the thing all day.
The Thunder Tank?
I didn't see any Swords of Omens. I didn't see any of that. I saw none of Cops. I was a big Cops guy. I don't know if you guys know about C.O.P.S. I forget what the acronym stands for, but they were like futuristic cops. And I had all those toys. Didn't see any of those. Ghostbusters, very few Ghostbusters I was surprised by. Like nothing. Not even like the new retro stuff.
There was only the 3. That was it.
Mm-hmm. There's a decent amount of turtle stuff. A lot of the what is that? Neko? Is that what it's called?
The NECA toys.
Yeah. A lot of the re-release stuff, some vintage stuff, not a ton. And I didn't see much of those. So I was kind of like disappointed in that aspect from my personal childhood, but it was still cool to see the stuff. I was impressed by a lot of the booths had video game stuff, Nintendo things. I thought for a split second about buying an old Nintendo, but it was too dirty for me. Clean the thing up and maybe I'll buy it for $120.
How much was it?
It's like $120.
See, I feel like not to place us, but there's a vintage video game place downtown where we live. I bet you it's probably cheaper there. I bet you they have
and
it.
plus, like, it was dirty. Like, I'm not gonna buy your dirty Nintendo, people. Like, clean it
dust
up
out.
first.
It's got cat hair in it and stuff.
I don't care if it works. Like, great if it works, but like, I'm not gonna bring a dirt box to my house, guys. Clean it up, and maybe I'll give you $100.
Yeah, there was some grimy stuff there. Looking at it, like a lot of the loose figures. Like,
you got to fig bath them.
Some of them were put in some nice like plastic bags and stuff, and they were good, and they cleaned them up. Like one of the things that I thought was cool was the Superpowers line, the old school DC ones that they're making like retro versions of them now. I think those are cool, and I used to collect those as a kid, and like I had a lot of the Batman '89 figures, like the Michael Keaton ones. I saw a bunch of those.
Me too.
I didn't see a lot of X-Men or McFarlane Spawn toys, but I had those too. Like I still have some here.
Yeah.
And those were cool. And then like you and I talked about this, but like other collectibles, like what else were you looking to see?
Well, it's funny. I was looking for horror characters just to see. And one of the first booths I went across, like, talk about Predator Month, Drew.
Yeah.
There was this table that had a row of very high quality Predators, all awesome. Different styles of Predator too. Some specific to Predator 1 and Predator 2, some maybe from the comics that had the different styles and hierarchy of Predators, all super, super detailed. Just a little bit out of my price range. It's like, how do you pick one? They're all $60+.
Yeah.
And it'd be weird if I just had one. So I feel like if I got one, it would be the slippery slope of me having 30 Predators in my house.
You need the LA Lakers Predator team, the hunting party, whatever they said from Danny Glover from last week.
Yeah. So, but I was super impressed by like the niche. I'm sure that there's a ton of Predator collectors out there, hence that they even make all these different variants. But I was very impressed by those.
They were really cool, and they were big too. Like it wasn't rinky-dink ones. They were it was almost like 18-inch tall or something. They were huge, and they were cool, like good
super
quality
detailed,
stuff.
Super detailed.
I think Diamond makes those or something, but they were really cool.
Adjustable heads and masks and stuff. Really awesome stuff.
Yeah, really, really cool. I also I don't know if thinking about stuff that I had growing up. You ever hear of Visionaries? They had like holograms like on their chest and stuff. It was cool. And then I didn't see any Earthworm Jim stuff or Street Sharks, and I was expecting.
I saw
to
Street
see
Sharks. I didn't tell you. I did see some Street Sharks. There were a couple. Yeah.
I have Earthworm Jim toys here right now.
Yeah,
and
the Street Sharks were out of the box. What I found, what my takeaway, and we talked about this while we were there, and it's kind of funny, is the play sets. At the time, they're like the most epic thing you could get as a gift, and it's like special occasion. You're going to get, I don't know, the turtle sewer for your birthday or Christmas. You're going to get the firehouse, and the firehouse. I all due respect to the firehouse and the Technodrome and things like that, but like some of the He-Man stuff, like the layers and
Castle Grayskull,
it's just plastic. You look at it, like they had some of those standing. They're huge things. They're like, if you're a kid, it's like almost as tall as you.
They are
3 feet tall. But it's all it is it's a large hunk of plastic. That's all it is. And they have the gall to charge you $60 retail in 1988.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it is true. And I think when you think about some of the other stuff, like I remember having the Batcave from Batman 1989, and it was cool because it had this like rotating TV screen on it where it had like the Joker on it and stuff like that. And it was mostly plastic. It wasn't huge, but it was good. And then even the firehouse, when you think about the Ghostbusters firehouse, like it wasn't just a piece of plastic. Like it had rooms, it had the spinning fire pole. Like there was accessories to it, which I thought was really cool. But like, I don't know, think about like my daughter right now. Like you got her that awesome ponies play set. And like, I'm thinking about like, she went over the moon when you got her that like last year or whatever. And she was nuts. I'm like, that's the equivalent of the Technodrome to her.
Yeah. Kids love to have the big things, but even if there's not much to them, like, to your point, the firehouse had a couple things going for it. The Technodrome was, I think, the best.
It was cool
play set to have from that era
because it opened up, right?
But some of the He-Man stuff, it's like it's just hunks of plastic and like mountains. It's like there's not much to it. And I'm thinking back to the I forget the name of it, but the Thundercats layer. I had that as well. Yeah. It looks pretty badass, but all it is just a front-facing thing. There's nothing really behind it. There's like there's like a cell or something, but really it's just a front-facing thing. There's not much to it to play with other than I have their home now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Kind of, looking back on it, not as cool as, who am I to tell, 8-year-old me what's cool and what's not?
Was there anything that you were hoping to see today that you didn't see?
That was exactly it.
Disappointing.
Some of the layers. I didn't see a Technodrome. I didn't see a Thundercats layer, or really Thundercats in general. I was really hoping to. I was hoping to have someone try to talk me into buying some of that stuff, and it wasn't even there for an opportunity. Also, I wanted cards, and not just baseball cards, but I wanted movie cards of
Yes.
like, every movie back in like the late 80s, early 90s had trading card sets to go with them.
Like Batman Forever.
Like Batman Forever, or Ghostbusters 2, whatever it may be. There was a trading card that you could, packs that you could buy with them. I didn't see any of those other than there was like one booth that had T2 cards. And I think there was like a couple Batman packs as well. But I would have bought some, like if there were Ghostbuster cards, I would have bought the whole damn box.
And those
honestly.
are cool in that they were so cool as a kid because you got different pictures of the movie and stuff. But it's funny because like I had Mortal Kombat trading cards, but they weren't like cards of the character. It was like the card was Liu Kang's fireball. And it's like a screenshot of the video game of him doing a fireball. And there's like nothing to it, but like I ate that crap up as a kid. I loved it.
Yeah, it's because the internet didn't exist, so we couldn't look up screenshots of the Liu Kang fireball. But if you had a picture of it in your hand, you had it. You could look at it anytime you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, it's like you could play the game, but like I kind of wanted the cards.
But could you freeze frame that game?
No,
you couldn't.
And speaking of cards, right? Like we just released our Terry Silver card, so go check it out on our Instagram page at the Last Row Pod, and on our I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But I had the Marvel trading cards, which I thought were awesome, and I didn't see them there, and I have an entire box of them here. I'll take some pictures.
And those are huge now in the resale market. I'm surprised there weren't booths with cards. Like I was really disappointed by the lack of overall cards.
Mine are in very, very, very good condition right now. Like I don't know that they'd be like graded like 9.9, but they're really good. Like I've kept them very well, and I put them in binders now. So I thought that was cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think was there any last question was there anything that you saw today that you'd have bought if money was no object?
Tough to say. I mean, I probably would have gone wrestling figures, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that's a good collection to have, especially some of the vintage ones. But like there was on card Hulk Hogan, $245. On card Razor Ramon, $250.
That's crazy.
No chance in hell, Vince McMahon, that I'm going to pay that money. But what I like, even loose, some of the characters I had as a kid, I would have liked to recreate my own collection for one.
Yeah.
But some of those wrestling figures are just going for way too much. It's ridiculous.
It's too much. Too high.
The wrestling fans are too crazy. They'll pay it. They ruin it for us regular folk. Too high. Way too high.
I had a blast at that thing. Thanks for inviting me. Like I don't really get a chance to do that much. Like I go to the same store quite a bit, like every week, but it was fun to see stuff in booths from like people all over the place. And it was cool. There was a lot of stuff there that I didn't think I would see. I wish I would have had more time and whatnot, but it was cool. We should definitely do that again. But yeah. So somehow we made it like 70 episodes in where we didn't actually have a villain scale. And we talked about those cards a little bit, and we were getting some messages through Instagram. I know Ross has been hitting us up, and he wrote us a message on one of our posts, and he and I were corresponding through Instagram a little bit. We were just chatting about maybe rescaling or redoing some of the old villains that we had from previous episodes. And like I said, it's 70 episodes that we didn't really have an official one. And I'll just read you one of Ross's comments because I think he makes a few good points. So he said, "I still maintain that Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat 95 tops Terry Silver. I think look and style is better, 7 out of 5. His hideout has to be higher. He has a whole island, and that tower is 5 out of 5. His plan is just okay. He's handcuffed to the rules, and he didn't really have a solid way to work around them, 4 out of 5. And the henchman, well, how do you top Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Goro, 5 out of 5. I have I don't want to poke holes in this, but I have some thoughts on Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
But it's a fair argument.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, Ross, thank you for writing into us for this idea, because we've been talking about it a lot, and I think you finally inspired us to do this. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to start back, all the way back. Get your time machine out, Badway. Get your roller coaster from episode 69, Time Cop. Get your time, get in the roller coaster, call up the TEC, make sure that they know that history changed. And
they never know. They
never
believe the guy when he comes back. They never believe.
But we're going all the way back to December 1st, 2014, the debut of the Last Row podcast.
Wow.
and we're going all the way back to episode 1. We're going to talk a little bit about Coach Jack Reilly from the Mighty Ducks today, and we're going to give him a proper rating.
So our plan, long story short, is to villain scale the villains that we talked about in previous episodes that the villain scale just didn't exist back then. So we want to give them a proper rating and throw them in the scale. So if we have an off episode like this where we didn't have time to watch a movie, we'll at least scale these villains in chronological order, starting from our released episodes, our release dates, which this is episode 1. Not only will we be doing this podcast form, but hopefully in live stream form on YouTube. So look out in the future for some YouTube content tackling a lot of these villains, and maybe we'll have guests on to help us scale as well. So that's some nice, cool, exciting stuff. Looking forward to in the future of the Last Row's YouTube channel coming soon. But how about we dive into Jack Reilly?
Oh yeah. So if you guys are new to the show and you don't know about our villain scale, we have an objective, patented Last Row villain scale that we put people through. There's 4 major categories. There's look/style, 1 to 5, hideout/layer, plan, and henchman. And then we give them total up, and it's out of 20. So that way we can rate things against each other. So you can find out how Dorian Tyrell from The Mask ranks against M. Bison from Street Fighter, who ranks against the Superstorm from The Day After Tomorrow. So, now that and it's our duty to do this. Like we're obligated now. We've got to do this. So let's start with Jack Reilly. And I know you got some thoughts on this guy. And the first category that we got to talk about is look or style. Like what is this guy packing here?
So whenever I think of Reilly, I think of his jacket, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind is that Hawks jacket. Would you call it a bomber jacket? Like, I don't even know the true definition of a bomber jacket.
It's like a varsity / bomber jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It has the suede. It looks like a suede coach's jacket, but it also has the collar of a bomber jacket. I don't know the definition, but it looks like a combo. If that's what you're getting at.
When you pop the collar on it, I mean that just brings it to a whole other level. The other thing I think about when I first think about him is the hairstyle, which is very, I don't know, early 90s dad style.
1992.
It's kind of parted in such a way that it looks like a toupee, and for all we know, it is a toupee. But it's very perfect, right?
Salt and pepper.
Yeah, a little bit of salt and pepper, a little gray action, a little grayish, if you will. Snapping the gum, snapping that gum like he's gonna beat you, because he's gonna beat you.
But is that a plus point or a minus point? Like the snapping the gum, does that make him more evil or less, or more annoying?
It ups the villain pointage for sure. I want to punch him, and it's a negative in real life. But
you're not about to snap.
If you have gum, just chew the damn gum. There's no reason to snap it. Don't open your mouth. All right, just don't do it. Not in front of me. So yeah, I mean, those are the key characteristics. What do you think? Like, what else is there? Am I missing something?
We got to talk about. So I don't know if this goes under him. I'm going to say that it's him. Because the coach sets the tone for the team, and with that logo on his jacket and the sweet bomber jacket style. But I'm gonna lump in the Hawks jerseys under this section because I feel like the logo of the team and the Hawks like style of the team, like those black jerseys with the white line and the blue text and the logo of the Hawk. Like, I think he defined the look of the team. I'm going to just pretend that he did.
And maybe I'm misremembering, but isn't the eye blue?
It's red, I think.
Or is it red?
I think, and you have a sweatshirt of this,
I do have a sweatshirt as well, yes.
I think the words are blue, but it's badass, right?
I could have sworn the eyeball was a color, the Hawk's eye.
And maybe it's blue. Maybe I'm wrong.
So you're giving him credit for the logo. So we know he's been coaching since at least 1970.
Yes, at least.
Do you think that logo has gone through any changes since 1970? And if so, he would be certainly they'd ask him his opinion on it, right?
It looks vintage, but I guess in 1992 it didn't look vintage, so maybe it looks now. But I think it's got good style to it.
If we're basing this on precedent of coaching, we know that District 5 turned into the Mighty Ducks through Gordon Bombay. It was his idea, his vision, his design, right? So we're going to also assume those rules applied back in 1970 when Coach Reilly took over the team, and maybe it was even in the 60s, who knows? And he goes, listen, District 4, District 3, wherever the hell they are, we're now the Hawks, and here's the logo. And I know it's great. Print them.
Like he drew it up in his...
Yeah, he drew it up with his protractor, and he had the thing and everything.
The drafting table and everything.
He had a drafting table. He had his bifocals on. It was a whole thing. And he came in and he goes, listen, District 2, we're now the Hawks. Don't you dare call us District 2. We're the effing Hawks, and we're about to win some 30 championships.
I think this guy has some good style to me, in my opinion. Between the team.
It's good asshole style.
Yes. It's got to be. This to me is at least a 4, in my opinion.
I was thinking
I want to give him a 5, but I don't know.
I'm not ready to give him a 5, but I think a 4 is more than fair.
Maybe it's not a 5 because he's still wearing like dad clothes. Like he doesn't have like costumes. Yeah. Like when you think about Wolf the Dentist Stanson from Mighty Ducks 2, who I'm pretty sure has a ponytail, and it's a wet ponytail, then that's a 5 to me. Like, I can't wait till we get to him.
He's not wearing a gold chain. He doesn't have one earring in his ear. He doesn't, like, his coat is very, I don't know, men's department. His wife bought it, and he's just wearing it because he doesn't know how to shop for his own clothes. Factory. Yeah, it's very generic coat, like a outer coat.
London fog.
Yeah.
But what about? So do we add anything for the accent? So he talks like a Texas football coach, which he's in. I'm pretty sure Minnesota. Yeah,
it's Minnesota. It doesn't fit at all.
I think we talked about this.
Even if he was a transplant from the 70s, what is he? Yeah, you think he would have lost the Texas accent in 20 and 30 years, right?
I think did we talk about that in episode? It's been what, 8 years? I don't even recall.
So who knows?
Maybe a 4.
I'm gonna hold it against him. Yeah, and I think you nailed it. It's a 4. The only reason it's not a 5 is because it doesn't have any extra flair. There's no flashiness. There's no over the top. This effing guy. There's no this effing guy. ... to him. It's more of just you see it, classic kids movie, coach bully, and he checks all those boxes.
When we get to Wolf the Dentist Stanson, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, I can't wait. I forgot that's like episode 20 something, but that'll be good. So so we're giving him a 4, and I agree with your reasoning as well. So now his hideout in his lair, right? We don't see it all. I'm curious what you'll pick here. Well, what are you feeling so far? So, like, do you have a number that you're thinking, and then you qualify it?
It's hard because we'll have to talk it out because he gets to the ice rink, right?
Yeah, I mean it's clearly his turf.
That's his turf, right? I mean, I don't think we know the name of the rink. They may have shown like an outside picture of it, but it's not important to the story. But it's a pretty dark ice rink. The lights are dimmed in such a way to make it look like MSG. Like, it's really nice. We don't see his house. For all we know, he doesn't have a house. He sleeps in that ice rink. He might sleep in the ice rink.
Or his car.
Yeah. He probably sleeps in his office. He's watching film. How do you win 25 straight championships? You don't go home. Do you think he has a wife? Do you think he has a wife? You think he's divorced, right?
Didn't he have like a college ring too? Like, I don't know if that's his wedding ring. So we didn't talk about that in his style, but
like some kind of championship looking ring.
It's some ring, but I don't think he's married. They never said. So to your point, like,
I forget
he doesn't go home.
I forget looking. I didn't look at his left hand to see if he had a ring on it or not, but I feel like he's divorced, and it's because of the hockey. She's yelled at him about stop pushing these kids, and he's like, "Damn it! Like, I need winners." And that's loser talk. He probably told his wife that she has loser talk.
She's a loser. She didn't want to win hard enough.
No, she didn't want it. She didn't want this marriage. Well, so I mean, she divorced him.
And hockey is the football of Minnesota. So it's like, you can't fault him for taking it that seriously, even at the Pee-wee level. This is his life. And he's been winning championships since 1970, at least, like you said. They showed the banners on the wall. It was like at least 20 of them. It's crazy.
But like part of that bleeds into the plan. So let's stick with the hideout. If it's just the ice rink, and I'm going to assume he doesn't have a home, he's getting between a 2 and a 3. I'll let you tie break.
I think I would go 2 here because I'm going to counterpoint you, right? Is it his ice rink or is it the town's ice rink?
The town's ice rink, but he effing owns it. He owns it, man.
I mean, his name's all over the wall, I guess. He owns that place. He owns
the damn place, right?
But he doesn't actually own it. And let's say he got fired. Like, he can't say, this is my ice rink. I'm taking it with me. Like, he can't shut it down for people. So I think
he owns it. It's his.
I kind of want to go 2 because it as much as I want it to be a 3, I don't think we can go 3.
His name's not on the deed.
No, it's not. He doesn't own the place. He owns the place, but he doesn't own the place. So, okay. So what about his plan? Because this is where the meat and potatoes are, as you would say.
So we talk about him, hating loser talk, and he's probably divorced because of it. And it's like, this is his life. The freaking 8-year-olds, Drew.
Yeah.
It's Pee-wee hockey. They barely keep scoring Pee-wee hockey.
I mean, he won. Didn't he beat the district whatever they District 5, like 18-0.
Yeah.
The first game. So they kept that score.
Embarrassing kids.
He kept that score.
He's out there embarrassing these kids.
He just wants to win.
So if you had to sum up his plan, what would you say his plan was?
I have to say that his job is his plan is a couple things. I think the most direct thing is to basically mold winning hockey players and cement his legacy. But actually, I think he cares more about winning than he cares about actually coaching these kids. Because if he cared about the kids, he wouldn't have told Gordon, you're going to let the team down if you miss this shot. Because it's about he wants to win personally. He wants to be the best coach of all time. And that is at all costs.
Yeah.
And he has techniques for that too, which is there's a very specific technique that you pointed out, which I think is interesting, right? He's not above cheating. He's the John Kreese of hockey.
Oh, yeah. He is a master gerrymanderer, if that's a word.
He's like redrawing the district lines.
He's been redrawing the district lines for years, getting the best players on his team. He's like, he's just squiggling the line on the map wherever it follows that, oh, Banks lives outside of my line. Let's move this line over here now. And then, those on Banks is a Hawk. He's been doing that for years. I bet you Gordon Bombay shouldn't have never been a Hawk.
You know what? I gotta respect it, man.
Yeah.
I gotta respect it.
I mean, you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
Yeah. I gotta respect it.
It took a hotshot lawyer like Gordon Bombay to get himself liquored up and lose his license and have to do some community service to figure it out and say, hey, this guy's been freaking cheating this whole time.
He exposed him.
Yeah.
He exposed him. And but look, I'll give him credit for that because who's gerrymandering 8-year-olds? That's smart. Think about it. Like like you said, they're barely keeping score. This guy, he's gerrymandered for 30 years probably, and he's got all the best players. He's got at least 30 championships. He certainly succeeded in that he has a legacy. Like he's probably the most successful coach at a Pee Wee level in the United States, maybe even Canada. Who knows?
Yeah, like you said, he's out for himself, which I'm going to give him bonus points for, versus the kids, because he doesn't care if he's like molding the future of Adam Banks, etc. He just wants the banners. The kids are disposable, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So what do you think here? I mean,
well, there's one thing that we forgot. We forgot one thing, and we didn't talk about it. It's outside of the plan, and it's probably his tactics. But he not only psychologically torments children, he also does it to adults. So he gets in Gordon Bombay's head, and I gotta say, like the way that he talked about the second place banner, he's like, I wish they'd take that one down, don't you?
Yep.
Like
he didn't have to bring it up.
I mean, that is torment, and that is like I'm talking kind of like Terry Silver level of torturing people.
Yeah.
Bombay, and Gordon is messed up because of it.
Bombay is the one, in his eyes, the one reason he doesn't have a perfect championship record from 1970 to 1992 or whatever this movie is, 91 or whatever. And it took him less than a minute from meeting Bombay as an adult to rub it in his face.
And not only is that, his personal philosophy is it isn't worth winning if you can't win big.
Yeah.
So how are you not going to give this guy at least a 4 here?
If he's going to win the game 2-1, it's a loss.
That's right. He doesn't want that.
You got to win at least 5-1.
There's a room for error margin. Yeah. And he's not above also physically injuring children, right?
Oh, yeah.
He wants them to play dirty. In fact, he did such a good job of indoctrinating people with this plan that Gordon Bombay was also teaching that 30 years later.
It's because it's all he knew.
That's all he knew.
Yep.
That was what he did. So I got to tell you, like this guy's pretty successful. It took his own student to like get so psychologically messed up to beat him. And honestly, the Hawks probably still should have won. They lost Banks. If Banks was still a Hawk, they'd have probably won anyway.
Sure.
That was a flaw, but
I probably talked about this way back in the day, but
in 2014.
Yeah, 2014. 15. For a refresher, you guys. I mean, I've had this type of coach without the championship pedigree. Right. Born loser. Born loser. The basketball.
Oh, okay.
So born loser, possible alcoholic, yelling at 8-year-olds that they're not doing the right thing. And then I also had the other coach, from another league that was like the best coach, and he was an actual role model to us all, and he was a great guy. And he only swore during the playoffs when we had a bad first half performance, but he wasn't swearing at us. He was swearing to motivate us. And it's like he saved this. It's like a PG-13 movie. If you save the F-bomb, it's more
You get one.
effective. It's more
You get
effective,
one.
right? He made the F-bomb effective. He waited till the playoffs to use it on us, and we didn't win. We came out there. We got blown out in the second half. We got outclassed. But like, I appreciate it. Like, all right, man, this is cool.
He's got some fire.
Yeah, and I got to say that the positive is better than the negative. So like, I don't agree. Like, yeah, he's winning championships, but these kids, he's got a lot of hate, and I'm surprised he's not dead.
But
That one of these kids didn't come back to get him.
But he doesn't care that that's the case, right? So his plan is to succeed his legacy and win championships, and he's succeeded at all of that. He doesn't care about the damage that he leaves in his wake.
It's true. All I'm saying is he's lucky he dodged some bullets. Is all I'm saying. After the fact, some people coming to get him from damaged youth.
I mean, hey, maybe Gordon Bombay to hit him drunk driving or something and taking him out. Like, for all we know, we don't know what happened to him after. Maybe a student did take him out after this whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he probably died after the events of Mighty Ducks 1.
I haven't watched the show, by the way. I know there's like a new show on the Disney Plus streaming service, but I haven't watched it, so I'm not gonna. I have no idea if they acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So are you not gonna give him a 5? Because I kind of want to give him a 5, but maybe I'll go 4 instead.
It worked for so long. That's the thing.
You got to give him credit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to give you other people that have 5s, and will that help you decide?
And plans?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Okay, so, and this is from the archives here. So this is actual archives. So just to give the listeners some perspective. So some 5s, we've only had a few on the show.
For plan.
The first one was Dusty Dinkelman, and he had a 5 in Just Friends.
Jamie
Palomino,
ambulance,
right?
The whole ambulance
Jamie Palomino
guitarist gig.
Exactly.
Sweet.
And then Bennett from Commando had a 5 because he faked his death and he was like taking guys out, and that's pretty good.
Yep.
And then Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat in episode 79 that we did, which was the remake. He had a 4.5, which is pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we also had Catherine Trammell had a 5.
Of course.
Terry Silver had a 5.
Of course.
He's going to have a 5.
Psychopath.
And then the Superstorm had a 5 from The Day After Tomorrow. So I don't know. Maybe it's not on the level here.
It's not a 5.
Maybe it's a 4.
I think it's a 4. That helped. That did help me put it in proper perspective.
I don't remember why we gave Dinkelman a 5, but it was probably deserved because it worked for so long.
He molded his career around making himself look good to women that he could not properly get in high school.
That's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
And he plays a sweet guitar. Like his whole adult life is making up for the fact that he was a pathetic dork in high school.
Yeah.
And because he does it for evil and not for good, makes it a plan 5 for a villain in a movie.
True. I think that's good. And Catherine Trammell was definitely deserved that 5. So, okay, well, this is where I think Reilly's going to lose some major points here because like, who are his henchmen? Because he doesn't have muscle and he doesn't really have any sub bosses.
He just has hockey goons.
But they're like 8-year-old goons. Like, they're not even like, you can't send this kid to beat up somebody.
No.
Like, let's say Gordon Bombay comes and tries to murder him from all the psychological trauma. Is he going to send out the 8-year-old goons to defend him? Like, he can't.
You know what he needed? He needed a 6'5", muscled up assistant coach.
Yes, he needed an assistant coach, and he didn't have it.
A silent but intimidating looking assistant coach.
Well, think about it. Mighty Ducks 2. Dentist the Wolf Stanson. He's got all of those Icelandic goons that are with him. Like, that takes it up a notch. Like, this has to be a 1, right?
And the Hawks, if his henchmen are just 8-year-old to 10-year-olds, they got to be doing more to beat up District 5 outside of the hockey rink.
They pulled some pranks.
Yeah, no, we need like black eyes and like some serious.
You're talking like Nancy Kerrigan style.
Yeah, like we need like an injury.
Get a pipe and bust up their leg.
Even though they injured Banks, I mean that's pretty.
They did, and they injured him in the game.
It might make it a 2 for me instead of a 1.
You're going 2
because they injured Banks and like they actually did do some physical harm.
Yeah, but
that Reilly did not do himself. He made someone else do it.
All right, so they did something to him.
They did something,
but they
on behalf of their master.
But they were so ineffective. I mean, these guys were punks. You can decide.
It's a 2 because they actually did injure Banks.
All right, we'll give it. We'll give it a 2.
But he's screaming for a muscle bound assistant coach.
He needed the assistant coach should have been Gordon Bombay. He should have been his right-hand man. He should have coached him up, but I guess he resented him so much for that second place banner, and he's a loser. You can't have a loser there.
Yep.
And maybe Jack Reilly doesn't want henchmen because they're all losers. Like he only trusts himself.
Yeah, why can't you coach your own team? Because you're not good enough. That's what he would tell him. Yep.
So I don't have really any other qualms with that. We'll give it a 2. We'll give it to you. So let's see. So let's recap them. So you got a 4 for look and style, a 2 for his hideout and his lair, 4 for his plan, and 2 for his henchman.
Yep.
And that gives us what, a 12? That's 12 out of 20 here.
Which is it's pretty respectable.
So let's see. So he's right in the range of like Hugo Snyder from Three Ninjas. He's right in the range of Bennett from Commando. He's Killian from Running Man.
These are all murderous people.
Yeah, I mean, they all murdered somebody. Maybe this guy murdered a kid that we don't even know about. We don't. If it's off screen, I guess we can't.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot less press in the 70s and 80s. Say there's a kid on another team that might, be in trouble.
Yeah,
maybe he had done something about them.
He's 1 point ahead of Emotep himself, the Mummy. So
I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, he's up there with murderers, and all he's doing is being an asshole to kids, and he's got a 12. I mean, that's
when you psychologically torment children. I mean, that gives you some points. So
I mean, that's what the whole basis of Silver is. I mean, he's psychologically damaging a child, and that's the genesis for his entire evil plot.
I'd love to relook at that, and how did we not give him a 20? I don't know. Just I look at it again, and I just maybe that deserves a
probably
relook. It was the henchman and the hideout, but I don't recall why. He was missing 2 points there, and I don't recall it. But either way, he's a perfect score to me. So
yeah, in our hearts. All right, so there's Coach Reilly with the 12 out of 20. So that's our first recap of our old school villains that were not villain scaled properly, and we hope to do them all at some point in the next year or so. Upcoming villains that will be scoring, and most of these should be on some form of stream on YouTube. They won't really be dedicated podcast episodes. We'll still keep those coming to you as normal. So we got Raymond Calitri from Gone in 60 Seconds.
That's a good one. I can't wait. Expert
woodsman and car collector extraordinaire.
A marksman, someone who can shoot accurately while falling.
I mean, he's responsible for one of our favorite movie tropes of shooting up while you're falling to your death to try to take somebody out with you.
You can't go down by yourself. I know when you came back.
Episode 3, maybe. I mean, not every episode has a villain, so we'll be skipping some. Maybe we'll do Ted from Jingle All the Way, Phil Hartman. I question if he's a villain or not.
Yeah, but if we're putting Dusty Dinkelman in, he's in, and they were both. Maybe we introduced the Creep Hall of Shame for him, if you remember, guys, back from then. But we could do it.
Dusty was actively a pain in Ryan Reynolds' side. Phil Hartman was passively and possibly
fair enough,
not even on purpose, seducing his wife, and it didn't get in the way of him getting the toy. I feel.
That's true. Well, let's say this, because maybe Sinbad's actually the villain in that movie, if you think about it. Well, put it this way. All right, if you guys want Phil Hartman on the villain scale or Sinbad, you let us know. thelastwordpodcast@gmail.com. Write in or tweet at us.
There you go. Also, episode 4 was our Home Alone 2 episode with Marv and Harry. That's going to be a classic. I mean, I can't wait to do that one.
That's a good one.
Sticky Bandits, and then maybe we'll also do the Wet Bandits as well. We never did Home Alone 1, so it might be a future episode. And episode 5 was Ghostbusters 2. Why not Vigo the Carpathian?
Yeah.
I believe we scaled Vigo in a live stream with Ken.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there, so I'm saying it doesn't count.
Ken, we'll get you back for that one. We have to have Ken on there because I know Ken's a huge Ghostbusters 2 fan, just like we are, and I think he would be. He could help us through the scale again. So no, that was fun, man. I'm glad that we did that, and hopefully people enjoyed it. And like Badway said, we'll do some more of these coming up. So we'll just close out. We got a couple of emails, and I think it's a good way to maybe close this episode out. But I just want to shout out everybody that did send us an email. Thank you guys so much. It's great to hear from everybody. We can't read everything, but we'll try to read some of them, and we try to write back to everyone that writes in. So definitely send them. But one of the emails that I wanted to read was from Sam. So Sam wrote us an email, and he just said, "I really enjoyed Predator Month," and he liked the idea of us doing these type of shows. And he said, "I'm also a huge Batman fan, so I loved all the 90s Batman movies episodes, and I think you should close it out with a 1989 Batman episode, which we didn't do yet, which would be fun." And he said, "I can't remember if you guys covered it on an episode or not, but he was curious what Drew's thoughts were on the Batman that came out earlier this year." and he said the naming of the Batman movies has now entered into Predator territory.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'll tell you, so I'll just say very quickly, Sam, and if you guys are interested, we could do this on a live stream too, but I love the movie. I thought it was great. It was like a 5 out of 5 for me on Letterboxd. I think I actually did give it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Thought it was fantastic. I don't know if I'm curious what you thought, Sam, but then he also said, we would do sort of like a Predator month, but with airplane movies. So executive decision. He said it was up our alley, and then also Air Force One. So he said tying it in like Volcano and Dante's Peak. But, he also said he gave a 5-star review on iTunes. So thanks, Sam. Thanks for the email and thanks for the shout out. But it's great to hear from you guys. And I loved that Batman movie. And I think that's a good couple of movies that we could do going up here.
I threatened the people, I think last episode, to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And Sam, he
thank you, Sam.
I like that.
You kept the show alive here. Yep. Otherwise, Badway was going to quit on me.
There would have been trouble, Sam, had there not been that review. So appreciate it. We also got some action here from Jay. He wrote us in. I'm going to paraphrase because it's a fairly long email, but I want to touch on some major points. It's basically about 3 O'Clock High, which has been brought up in the past from another listener or so. And
I think Eric, right? Eric wrote into us.
Yeah, Eric. So he writes. So Jay writes, "Hello, Drew and Badway, back on episode 100. I heard you guys suggest by a subscriber, Eric, for the movie 3 O'Clock High. Drew has never seen it, and I'm not sure if Badway has or not. I have not. But I'd like to back up a suggestion, also plead a case for it." And he goes on to plead a very good case for us doing 3 O'Clock High, which, yes, you won.
Case,
you win. And we're going to do it very shortly, within the coming month or so. The producers had no faith in it, and the critics gave it a Karate Kid 3 style beatdown right out of the gate. But IMDb gave a rating similar to the movie Big, although despite having a budget 3 times less and having no big name actors, I'm convinced this movie is a cult classic rather than an 80s classic due to its lack of exposure. It's probably a very true statement because you got to have the star power.
I've not seen this. Yeah. I have not seen it.
But then he goes on to name the that guys, Drew, that are in this thing. And the that guys and that girls from those things make this a very doable podcast for us. He's dropping Colin Crisp. He's dropping Billy Tessio from Stand By Me.
Yeah.
He's dropping the voice actress from Lisa Simpson. He's dropping Large Marge, and he's dropping Darby's crew.
Darby's crew.
He's dropping Darby's crew from Sons of Anarchy.
Don't
which
forget,
Drew and I stupidly joke to ourselves about Darby's crew all the time.
Don't forget the police commissioner from Ghostbusters too. Another that guy from that thing.
Yep. Drew and I are Sam Crow all the way. So we love Sons of Anarchy, and we love to hate Darby.
Man, I remember watching that show when we lived together all the time. Love that show so much.
And he closed out the email by saying, "It's not an action movie. It has no body count, but it's so outrageous and over the top. It could have only been made when it was. It's earned its way into the hidden gems category for those who have seen it. Back when I was at the mercy of television programming, I'm flipping through the channels and Ferris Bueller's Day Off is on, and 3 O'Clock High are on the same time. More often than not, he's going with 3 O'Clock High. One's a classic, and the other's not. As Josh Baskin once said, I don't get it." Which, you know what? Maybe a hot take, and he hot taked it, and I might lukewarm take it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's all right. Right? It's fine.
If you saw it at the time, it's probably the best movie ever. I like it.
I like it too, but it's all right.
Yeah, I haven't seen 3 O'Clock High, so I can't say whether it's better than this or not. Ferris Bueller's, but I don't disagree with you. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is a good movie, but I think it does get a lot of hype, and it's because it was iconic at the time. But as someone who didn't grow up watching it, I kind of think it's all right too. Like, it's all right.
Yeah,
but I like that he said, "Jay, you weaved in the I don't get it." I really like that.
I don't get it.
So, and the fact that Colin Crisp is in this movie, sign me up, man.
Yeah,
sign me up.
So Jay, thanks for writing in, and you convinced us. It's time, and it's always fun to do a movie that neither of us have seen and get fresh eyes on an 80s movie. We'll tell you right away if it holds up because we're not putting any nostalgic bias into it because it's the first time.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I had fun with this one. I know that it's not a traditional movie show, so apologies to everyone that was expecting that, but we just wanted to get you guys something and still hang out virtually.
It was either this or nothing.
Yeah. We wanted to hang out in your heads.
Eat your vegetables.
In your ears and in your heads and in your cars, wherever you guys are listening. Thank you to everybody that's been listening to us every 2 weeks. Thank you to everyone that wrote in an email. Thank you to everyone that left a Apple Podcast review, Podchaser review, Spotify review. Thank you all so much. The show wouldn't be anything without you guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, September 29th. If you want to send us an email, thelastwordpodcast@gmail.com. leave a comment on the episode's page at thelastropodcast.com on this episode. Tweet at us. Write us on Instagram at The Last Row Pod, Facebook at The Last Row Pod, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to be putting more stuff out there. I'll put a link in the description. You'll get that, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
We'll see.
Well,
do you think the people are listening to us in their beds?
I would hope so.
What about